trying to read that nature. Do I remember this from last time? See, it stormed up here earlier this morning for about 35 to 40 minutes, from about 9:30 till about 10:45 or something like that. Well, actually, that's more than like an hour. I just did the backtrack of the time. That was it. That's matted down. It's not loose. Could be a couple weeks old, could be 3 months old. Same thing here. What do you guys think? You think we're going to find some major things out here today? We have about 6.5 hours. Here we go. One step for mankind coming up. Whoa. Right on top of the mound. Yeah, it's still a little bit cloudy at the moment, silty. That's a good sign, but these waters are not going to get rough. They're not going to go buck wild. What the heck is that? Oh, it's a bottle. I thought it was a ball or something like that. Yeah, they're not going to get buck wild out here unless a body of water further up, much further up, just completely overflows past its limits. I mean, there's a line right here, but that could be a month old. Come on, guys, tell me you got something major right here for us today. It's real soft at the moment. Look at that, guys. I'm sinking. I'm causing the bank over here to fall a little bit further. Now, if it's sandwiched down, then that's an issue. If it's really soft, then that's not an issue. I never found pottery in here. I found probably, well, let's not say never. I found probably in the past 6 years, I think about maybe 7 shards. That ain't jack. That's nothing compared to all the other places. And this is a new gravel bar too. It's kind of new. That I can remember. I don't know. Let's hope we see those wings sticking out, if you know what I mean. Those ears. Whatever it is out here, let's hope it's not broken. We need the weird pieces. We need the Daltons. The transitional ones. We need some axe heads. We need some side profiles and some rocks. We don't need the flakes. We don't need the fakes. I think I see something. Hold up. Right here. Nice piece of quartz. You always got to take a look at it. And it's the bottom of a dang Mora Mountain, guys. Look at that. The tip is busted on it, though. That's a very good sign. The tip is busted off the Mora Mountain. I'll just keep it in my pocket just in case for now. I'm not going to say it's going to be the only piece I'm going to recover today. The reason I'm going to hang on to it for the meantime is because this is the first thing of historical significance I laid my hands on out here in this part of the creek. I'd say in the last year. And it's busted. At least I know there's something still coming from this part. If they would let me collect some ancient fossilized bones from 12,000 years ago, that would be just as nice. But by the end of the day, by the time I get out of here, I might just toss this back. It depends on how much more I recover. Welcome to GA. Yeah, man. They got all crazy out here. They did. Creek used to be right here. They pulled down a tree. They're rerouting the creek right here. They just collapsed a good, I'd say 7.5 to 9 feet. Was that a snake? I don't know. But they just collapsed a good 7.5 of the creek right here. They're busting through this thing. This is crazy though. I mean, what direction is this creek going to be going into later, you know? I mean, look how it just goes over here and washes out this bank. Then it's going to go backwards. Okay, so here's how it's going to go out here within the next 100 years, 200 years. All right. So the creek is going to wash this out right here. One of two things is going to happen. What a boring part of the video. But they're going to wash out this part of the creek right here. They might cut through right here. They're going to start filling this place with land right here. So this is not going to be the creek anymore. I mean, that's option number one, what I'm gathering at, because there's a cut through right here where there's overflow and it just cuts across. So the creek might cut through right here and just end up over there. And then right here will be nothing but, you know, soil that's been pushed over here to fill it in. Or they're going to continue to cut through over here, soften the soils, go back here, and cut through the landscape right here and create an eddy zone like a lake. And then continue on in this direction. In other words, this is just going to fill up with water like a lake. Let's go with option number one. They're going to cut through the little cut zone right here. I'm going to show you in a minute. That's going to be their bust through zone, you know. That's going to be that zone that they bust through to keep the creek going straight. And this place is going to be just forgotten about and neglected. What the heck do I get myself into? This ain't January, this is July. Let's hope we don't feel any fireworks in the legs with those fire ants. Maybe I spoke too soon. I said I wanted to find something that hasn't been discovered out here before, like something weird, you know. Man, dang. And I thought it was a giant black church spear tip until I pulled it out. All I saw was shiny blackness on it. And it's just this. What is that, a pickup truck? XLT Lariat? Should I add this to the pocket? It's just a piece of garbage. It's not as ancient as I'm looking for, as I'm watching at the moment. Should I just take it just because, you know? Because I'm adding stuff to the pocket. Let me go ahead and do that thing. Cool little object. I dare you guys. Sounds like somebody's out here doing lawn work. Why do you gotta do that on 4th of July, guys? I mean, I know you work your jobs like crazy, but you should take a break. That's why some of the time your corporate jobs, they got you in these jams, you know, whatever job you might have. They got you in these lifelong jams where you're forced to do manual labor and stuff when you get a tiny little bit of free time. When you should be chilling, you know, like us. Well, this one's flattened down also. I found some weird things out here before. Let's hope we can keep it going. Ain't nothing wrong with about 10 more weird things, really, when it comes to the historical items that are unexplainable, you know, things you just can't put your finger on what it was. I mean, like artifacts that you know are artifacts, but you don't know exactly what kind of type it is, you know, what kind of subtype, what kind of historical object it is. I mean, it's like some of the things I found out here look more like experiments, you know, like a one-of-a-kind arrowhead or something like that. I found like 3 out here like that before. There's nothing wrong with finding a few more. Please help us out, guys. Let us find that truth. Making those discoveries, new things that have never been seen before, because you wanted to experiment with the things that were given to you when it comes to like the rocks and stuff. The things that were given to you to help you survive, you had to adapt. If you don't know who I'm talking to, I'm just talking to the ones out here, The ones out here who say strange things like, some have crush. Things like that. Tell me that the ladies out here have a crush on me. I wonder who it is, though. Look at that. That's beautiful. Maybe they were talking about me. Maybe they were saying it was me that has a crush. That could be it. Talking about how how I have a crush on the human ladies out here. I mean, in one of my videos a long time ago, just after that event, where they said out here some have crush. After that one video, about a year later, in a different location, someone said, you have human crush. Human. They said I had a crush on the human race. I wonder what they meant by that. Oh, there's a baby deer. And their appearance. My bad, guys. I thought it was like a fox at first. Alright, there they go. They ran up into the woods. My bad. I didn't mean to scare them. They were chilling in the high grass in this beautiful heavenly spot. And I just destroyed that feeling for them by being out here. I tell them all the time, they don't have to be afraid of me. It's never been stacked that high before. Wonder if there's going to be anything in it. That thing's about 2.5 feet higher than it. It was always a flat one, though. It was always flat. I wonder if there was going to be some lying on top. Because a deer were here. Right here. They're probably trying to tell me that they left something out here for us. The last 3 or 4 times, I'm not going to say in a row, but in the past month. Now this is a little bit scary though. I just picked up on this the other day when I found that spear tip. The last handful of times that I found a nice piece, there was a deer within feet of it. Like standing right next to it. And then the deer took off. It was almost like they were trying to catch my attention. To look at something. Just like that giant spear tip I found the other day. The one that's 6 inches long. Size of my left hand. I know you remember that part of the video. I panned up because a humongous buck was standing right in the middle of the creek with humongous antlers. And they took off. And that was the spot where the spear tip was. I definitely had to think about that a couple of times. It's almost like the deer out here, or the spirits of the ancient peoples. Some of them, that is. And they like to try to teach you, lead you to truth. They just take off, hoping that you'll find what they're standing next to. Please tell me there's something in here. Any fossilized bones. Any cave rocks? I think I see one. A cave rock besides this thing here. This has got Oh my man, gosh, jeez, dang. I don't know if that's a scraper or if that's the bottom of a spear tip, guys. The whole top has been whacked off. At least it's great evidence that it's still coming from someplace out here. Maybe that's all I'm meant to find right here. And the deer led us to it. Maybe there is something to what the deer do out here. Try to lure you into places to find stuff. Depends on your interest though. If only it was intact. Would have been humongous. I think I might have found a piece of pottery right here. It's got a curve on it. It's kind of slim. I just kicked it up and I saw that it had a curve on it. I thought it was a rock, but it was too smooth to be a rock. Hey, it is a piece of the pot. Man, these deer, thank you guys. Thanks. Why can't there be more deer out here standing in perfect heavenly spots? Then I would know that there would be something around. This is only like the 7th piece of pottery I ever found in this creek. The full length of it. It is extremely rare for pottery to be out here. Alright, we're not having that bad of a day. Brokes or no brokes, you know. At least I'm never going to be broke when it comes to the soul. Oh, is that a preformed Dalton? No, it's just a busted rock. Maybe it is a preformed Dalton. Could be another one of their experiments that was screwed up. You know, let's go ahead and just take it, guys. Let's go ahead and recover this rock. It's been out here for 6 years. It looks like a map. Let's go ahead and keep it. I guess they want me to recover this rock for some reason. I think it's natural, though. It's got to be natural. I know I crack jokes all the time about looking for these rocks that I kind of figured the Native Americans carried with them in their tool belt. You know, these flat rocks where they carved maps and stuff on to help them find their way. Like a video game. Like it's Donkey Kong Country or something. One of those exploring games or something. One of those adventure exploring games. And I just crack jokes about looking for these tablets. But what if it's not a joke? What if it's for real? All right. Well, since it's been so long since I've been out here, there might be a couple of spots it's going to be nearly impossible to get around. And we're going to have to adventure our way through it. Hardcore. They might have cleared a path or two, I don't know. How young or how old is this creek, though? I mean, there's a tree stump right here. It looks like it's been out here for 700 years. Look at that thing. That looks like where it originally sat. For all this time. So where was the creek at? You cannot be out here finding quads and Daltons next to a major waterway. For it not to be a waterway, you know? A tiny little ancient creek. That's why I kind of figured this place was like a river or something like that. Weird on how this is the only creek that I find stuff that old. Well, you know, I mean, this is the only creek I've never found soapstone in, though. Yeah, things are covered up in silt. Man, dang. Alright, here's a spot. The one spot that's nearly impossible to get around, but there's another spot a little bit further up. Thank you for this lovely summer day. Yeah, it's deep, all right. It's up to the thighs. Well, that's not really considered deep. I mean, you got to think about the water, though. I mean, if this was a Chattahoochee, if it was up to the thighs, it wouldn't be that deep, would it? Depends on the frame of the moment. And this is a little creek. When it goes up to their thighs, it would be considered to be deep. I wish they didn't do this right here. Look at that thing. I see something that looks like a giant Dalton. And it's a leaf because I just kicked that thing. Dang. Well, to them that is a giant Dalton. They gave us what I asked for and it was perfectly intact. Black Chert Dalton. I'll just go ahead and say it. Thank you. Tell them thank you for helping us find that giant Black Chert Dalton. They are so literal out here, it's not even funny. It's almost like it's a game to them out here. Oh, that's nothing. Another game piece. Thanks for that one too. Keep them coming, but also to be authentic. Be nice to find that quad. At least I found another masterpiece of a finger pointer rock. Very cool indeed. Thank you guys for that one. Yeah. I don't know about this one. You talk about an obstacle course. Okay, I can climb through here. I mean, we're practically over here on the other side. Dang it. You're going to tell me to hop up in this thing right here. I mean, should I? Or should I just take this route? You know, climb over the log and then jump on over. I think I'll do that instead. Let me go and do this thing. But be careful not to disturb the balance. Yeah, well, not that hard, but what the heck do I get myself into? Hey, a blue ball. You're going to tell me to go get the blue ball. The things I do to myself at this ancient age of mine. Hey, it's 2 blue balls. What you know about that? Huh. Blue balls. Should have found 6 paleo right now by now. Hasn't happened yet. It's about 4:35. Clock is ticking, but the day's not over yet. Beautiful. Here comes the thick haziness. And you already know what follows the thick haziness later on. Darker clouds with some major thunderstorms. Something might be headed this way later. Better keep a lookout. Good thing I got a kind of an early start today anyway. You'll never believe it. Yeah, I'm hunkered down right here. I'm hunched over. I saw what I thought was an easier route. I can see the bottom right here. I never saw it coming through this place right here earlier. Bam! Please tell me that's got a tip on that thing. That's a Dalton. How did he do this? I've been looking all day. Oh, it's got the tip on it. Check that thing out. We got a Dalton. It's fully intact. Transitional black chert. Transitional paleo black chert. Well, a mixture. Thank you, fellas. Thank you for helping me find this thing today. Ancient ones. About dang time. I'm 2 years past due. That thing was sitting right on the edge. Where's my footsteps at? From when I climbed in this thing. I said I was going to be going deep. Man, the back is hurting so bad I can barely move. Here's where I went deep right here, like Ronald Acuna. Yeah, it's deep. Hold on. It's up to the thighs. Yeah. Brothers, ladies, and gentlemen, we just went deep for real. Transitional paleo, fully intact. Thank you, Lord. Welcome to GA. We're always just lucky enough to find one or two out here. The older it is, the less there's going to be. And I just found that less, but more. In age, that is. Thank you, Lord, for this perfect find today. I'm not going to say I doubt there's going to be more. Let's not say that. I want to keep going. There's got to be something else out here in a different part of the creek. But we just found something that's at least 9,500 years old, fully intact. And I went through all this. Crazy. Perfect. Hold up. Now, I've been taking note of situations like this lately, within the past 6 months to a year. I've been taking note of this, how it's been working out. I might be on to something when it comes to the spirit of the lands out here, connecting with them, the spirituality of it all. Guys, you need to listen to what I'm about to talk about. Back there, that one graph bar, remember that one time when I looked down and I was just laughing? And I said, look at that black chert arrowhead. I've already kicked it up. It's a game. And I showed you, it looked exactly like a black chert arrowhead. But it was a leaf. But then in the same gravel bar is where I saw that finger pointing rock. Just a couple of skits ago. And I saw that finger pointing rock. And I said, there's something downstream they're trying to get us to find. That's the same gravel bar. So we saw the fake black chert arrowhead that was in the form of a leaf. And then later on, I noticed the finger pointing rock pointing us into this direction. And they lead us right to it. What the heck is going on out here? Thank you for what you do. It's just a hobby, but it's a very, very spiritual hobby. Thank you for leading me to it. I'm trying to take note of the signs. I'm trying to always recognize them, and I'm getting better at it. If only the other humans would too. Everything that they lead you to leads to something else. You just have to keep your faith. that thing would have been pulled out of here and erased, probably broken after the next flood event. During the next flood event, we just saved some major history out here. What else are they going to lead us to today? Yeah, once again, it just happened again. This one gravel bar I just passed through about an hour and a half ago, and I just now noticed it. A base of a tiny Dalton. Crystal. How come I didn't see it coming up here, guys? It's busted, though. How come I'm seeing them now going backwards and not forwards? Man, that's a weird looking one, though. Looks like a tiny little one. I could be wrong, though. It could just be a busted piece of quartz, though. Maybe another one of their game pieces. Let's let them have it, though. What if that is the base of another Dalton? And it's just blasted beyond recognition. Like a firecracker hit it. Great find, guys. Thanks for that one, too. Surprised I never saw it to begin with last time. I was just thinking about something, though. I guess the reason why I haven't found more, I told you earlier, it's like the older it is, the less there's going to be. Uh-oh, back above the knees. I guess there's a backup spot caused by some kind of jam up here. They're partying. They're jamming. Jamming the place up into a backup zone. You know there's going to be like 6 paleo up in here. You got to know how the balance works out here. When there's a backup, no matter how high the waters get, when there's a backup in the creek, you know what that means? Things have a tendency to slow down. Imagine dredging 150 feet out here. Imagine what you could find. Yeah, but speaking of balance, I mean, finding that one transitional paleo, that one Dalton, that's like almost equivalent to finding like 6 fully intact late woodland. You know? You see what I'm talking about, the balance? I think that might be all I'm going to be able to collect today when it comes to the major history. You know how rare it is to find more than like a couple of Daltons in one single day? Let alone one. I mean, it's got to be all balanced out perfectly. So I found what is equivalent to what? Maybe 6 or 7 late woodlands? What else is that equivalent to? Or can it be equivalent to when it comes to this hobby? I mean, one fully intact Dalton is equivalent to a half intact Clovis paleo. One that's been snapped in half. Maybe one fully intact Dalton, like the one we just found, is equivalent to 15 broken woodland points. You got to know how the balance works when it comes to sobbing. Look at that balance. A piece of styrofoam that can't even float away. What you know about that? Thank the Lord I didn't step on it. Yes, I have another one. It's right here. It's tiny though. I recognize black shirt a mile away, but look, it blends in with everything else out here too. Don't we ever have some good eyes, fellas? It's right there in the center. I almost stepped on that thing. It was almost like I saw a rattlesnake and I jumped back real quick. Check that out. I haven't even looked to see if it's got a broken tip or not. I'm almost afraid to pull it out. I don't want to be disappointed. Happy 4th of July. Man, It's probably got a tip ding on it. These things are so dang fragile. No, it doesn't. Look at that. Look at that. It's tiny. It's tiny. Oh boy. I haven't found more than half of one in 2 years. And we found two today. That might be our first woodland one out here ever. It goes along right next to the Dalton. And these things probably separate time frames of what? 5 to 7,000 years? Whoa. Man, look at that thing. Brand new. Perfect. Thank the Lord I didn't step on it. Crazy. Gotta pay more attention. Hey, look, we have a bottom of an old school crock right here. Check that thing out. Old school for real. I'm keeping that joker. That's probably 1903. It could be 1881. Good find for today. That's the bottom of one. Nice. Man, I'm so glad I came out today. These ancient pieces would have never been recovered. Would have never been added to my historical collection, my museum collection in the studio. Would have never found these things if I didn't decide to come up here on the 4th of July. I know they're just rocks. But technically they're more than just rocks, guys. Can't be thinking like that. So how did something like this end up down here? I was just out here 24 hours ago. We have a toy, guys. Wonder how it ended up down here. Look at the soils underneath. Looks like it's been out here for a while. But how so? I just left out of here 24 hours ago. Let me try some real quick. That's a cool little toy. It floated from someplace though. Let me go ahead and try what I did over this past weekend when I talked about the even trade-off. Now, right before I found that Dalton back there, you know, the black chert Dalton, right before I found that, one gravel bar before that, I came across a little log jam inside the gravel bar, and there was like 7 tennis balls. There was about 7 tennis balls, and I took them and I tossed them up in the woods. And it just jogged my memory about the experiment that I tried about the even trade-off, like I was trading with the ancient peoples out here, giving them something that's cool from the modern times in exchange for something ancient. I bet their kids would like to play with this thing right here, wouldn't they? Let me go ahead and toss it up in the woods and see what happens. See if they lead us to another one. There's not going to be a guarantee that they will. But there's nothing wrong with trying. Let them hang on to this thing. Imagine finding this 10,000 years from now. Or even just 344. Depends on how high the waters get. Let's hope they have time enough to play around with it. And we can add something to the collection later today. Almost like a repeat from last night. Check it out. Looks like we have something purple forming in the horizon. Better get ready for that one. Just like last night. No one ever touched it. I set that thing there like nearly a month ago. No one even bothered to look at it or recognize it. Shame on them. Perfect place to find a large white one sitting right up. They're building up the landscape, guys. Look at that. Okay, so 6 years ago, the creek used to circle around here. Now they got trees growing up 13 feet high and filling it up with vegetation. And this right here used to be all the land. They had a couple of large log jams that lasted out here for the longest time. Don't you love nature, what they can do out here? Reroute the creek. They will do everything it takes to do what they want to do. No matter how long it takes or how hard it's going to be, they will find a way. It's almost 8 o'clock. I better start thinking about turning back really soon. I mean, look at that. Extremely artistic. I tried to save a whole bunch of these and make some kind of layered piece of art, but it dried out too quickly. And when I try to play around with it, everything just shattered even more. So apparently, if I try to attempt that thing later on, I'm going to have to keep these things wet. The bark from the sycamores. Dang, look at that. Very nice. Yeah. I see what's going on here. I get the idea now. Man, situations like this right in front of me make me realize what kind of mistakes I make when I don't go out when it rains hard. Like if I judge the laws of nature too much, man. I gotta learn my lessons, for real. Dang. The heck did this thing come from? Man, if only I was out here earlier after it happened, I probably would have found 5 Daltons. Gotta keep that in mind. See you back at the studio. There's something in this bag that we've been waiting on for a very long time. Let's go ahead and take a look. Yes, sir. Exactly what I've been waiting on to recover out there for a very long time. But the older it is, the longer you guys are going to have to wait. Make no mistake about that. Very nice. Just got the garbage out of there, that's it. Gotta Google the answer. XLT Laureate. Hey, it's even got art on the backside. We'll use this side. And not that one. Man, look at that. Now that it's dried off, you can see a lot of things on it. Dang. It's like a vertical painting. Boy. Good eye, good eye, good eye. Good save. Keep that one for something else. And I love coming across these things too. Because something definitely drains to the waterways. Wonder where it came from though. Like keeping the coins. That's like money right there. But this was not. Got a broken scraper right here. Possibly. Could be a base of a Mora mountain. Piece of pottery. Thick. Heavy. Could be the base of a gigantic spear tip. Why did I keep it? Because in many respects, it's hard to come across these things. Where's the top at? I'm going to have to check my stash. I just collected it because I thought it was line work for like a map or something like that, you know. Chiseled in there. Hey, there's something else on the back. Look at that. Nature does perfect things. Who knows? Maybe they're the ones that are drawing the map. It looks like a city. You know, there's the perimeter that goes around some kind of city. Love finding rocks like this. I need to collect more of them. They're like little tiny maps. Wonder how old that is. Could be from the 1890s. Could be from the 1740s. Can't tell. But we got the two famous finger pointing rocks right here pointing at something very special. The finds of the day. I'm hoping that's a Dalton. I believe it is. Transitional paleo. Ain't nothing like it. Definitely top shelf when it comes to my museum stash. Boy. And it was hanging on the edge too. Now this one, that's probably just like mid-woodland. I could be wrong with it though. It's a stand point, looks like it was made yesterday. Still kind of sharp on this side. You can feel the serrations. It's almost like a broken piece of glass in the hand. Too bad the top is busted just a little bit, the tip. Barely even noticeable. These things are separated by a few thousand years. Ain't nothing like having a day like today. See you in the next video.